Oh, we're live. Hey. Well, you know what? Maybe next week I'll hand off one to you, Teresa, if you like to. It's up to you. It's up to you. We'll just.
I was like, what? Huh?
I love starting a stream so confused. Oh, wait a minute. I still have this on. I like to show my face because I am narcissistic.
A TikTok star.
I am. Yeah, I am. Well, I don't want to go there, but 3,100 and counting.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love TikTok. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday night, a stream by the Crossroads. The stream by the Crossroads. The stream by the Crossroads. My name is Scott, and this is Sparky News Podcast. And we have some fun for you tonight. We are going to be talking Danny. We're going to be talking Ned. We're going to be talking John and a boar, too.
A boar.
A boar.
A boar.
Goddamn
goodness.
boar. I believe this is John's worst chapter. Or no, I'm sorry, Ned's biggest mistake chapter.
Oh.
Well, we shall go over that. But with me tonight, so many. With me tonight is my usual partner in crime, the great Jayne Theory.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. We're gonna have some fun.
You. Yes, and I would just say now a panelist whenever she wants to be, Miss Martin Muses.
Hello, welcome everybody.
I didn't say Muse. I'm so proud of myself.
Yay, you did it.
I don't know why I never realized that. I hate the English language.
English sucks.
It sucks so bad. So how are you ladies on this fine night? How's the weather where you guys are?
Hot.
I was going to say hot, very hot.
We had the remnants of Hurricane Isis. What was it called?
Hurricane Isis.
It was like it's ice. It almost sounded like ISIS. What was it? Hurricane.
Oh my gosh, man. Well, if you're talking about the one that was off the coast of Florida,
yes,
I can't pronounce it. So I
Isaiah's,
to myself.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It
Aisha,
been ISIS.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Aisha, it was our very first date at the playground. Yeah, it was. We got that. It bounced off of the coast of, well, it hit California. Geez, Scott, slow down. Hit Florida, bounced up the coast, and hit like the western part of my state. But we had some high winds. I was really worried we weren't going to be able to have this. And luckily, in my town, we're like one of the only streets that still has power.
Oh wow!
Dude, it was meant to be.
I don't know. Patron saint of George R.R. Martin looking over me.
Now, so you could only kick his butt to make him write some more, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's writing, right? Wait a minute, let's do it. He will finish the books. He will finish the books. He will finish the books. Put it into the ether, people.
He has to.
He has to, right? He has to finish the books.
It's inevitable.
Well, if you want to hear us talk about George R.R. Martin after this stream, and I'll announce it again, I will be on Immortal Coil stream at 9:30. Later, I'll put the link in the chat. He doesn't get a lot of people during his live streams. People watch usually afterwards. So I'm hoping some Sporks, OSs, original Sporks will follow us over there and show him some love. But he's bringing me on because he wants to talk a little George R.R. Martin news.
Ooh.
So I could bitch over there a lot, I guess. But tonight we are doing chapter 46, 47, 48. That is Danny number.
Danny?
Yeah.
Is she 47?
She's 46.
No, 46. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ned is 47. And then 48 is John, I believe, if I am correct. I hate saying, because I am so used to everyone saying like Danny 4, Ned 3. So like actually doing this has gotten me to like look at the actual numbers of chapters. And I don't know. Now, have you read all the books yet, Miss Martin Muses?
No, I am actually reading the books at the exact same pace as we are reading them.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. But you saw the show. I
saw the show. So the major plot points from the TV show are spoiled. Yes.
Right. The first 3 seasons are pretty much like what the first 3 books. Not perfectly and not in as much detail. I'm at so
smartly. Those are smart adaptations. Yeah.
Yes. Things that were kind of needed to keep the story going smoothly and not add too many characters. Again, George R. R. Martin has said in interviews he never thought anyone would want to turn this into a show or a movie, because that's the reason he started writing it that way back in the 90s. After being in Hollywood for so long, he wanted to write something that they physically could not create on screen. And technology caught up. And we, for a few seasons, were very lucky people. So Teresa, let me ask you, what do you think? What is your biggest takeaway from the books compared to season 1 so far?
The difference between the books, probably for me, it has to do with Catelyn. That's the one that really comes to mind, because Catelyn was far more of a pain in the butt in the books than in the TV show. I remember being far more sympathetic to her in the TV show, and I think we've said it before, because of the actress.
Unbelievable actress, right?
Yeah, that the actress had enough charisma that I'm now able to objectively, reading it through the book, it's like, yes, she was doing dumb things. And I don't know if it was portrayed that way in the TV show, or if it was just because she was so charismatic, I was blinded to how dumb Catelyn was being.
Well, let's put it this way. When she's in the Eyrie and realizing that she made a mistake, you catch that in the books, but in the show, the actress with a look gives you more than what the writers in the show could have gave you. So you could tell she's realizing she made a mistake, bringing Tyrion to the Eyrie. I completely agree with you on that. She is very, very charismatic. They also changed some of the storylines. So Ned going to, going to King's Landing, in the show, they make it seem like she's against it. In the books, she's the one that talks him into it. So they did make some changes. We found some really big changes early on in this stream. And if you guys haven't watched our earlier streams, I'm going to start dividing my streams up, not just one big stream playlist after I get monetized. So people can just right now do them all. But when I do, I'm going to break down our book series and our lives for Winds of Winter series, and then my Saturday news dumps. So, but we did. What else did we catch that was like, wow?
Well, Rob was a big one for me. In the show, they made it, he comes across as such an idiot. And yet in the books, we can tell that there's a plot that is sort of he's embroiled in without knowing. And he could have very well been bewitched.
Let's watch how far we go with that. But that's a great one for a Monday night. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. Also John getting like Tyrion being the one to talk to him about, not beating up the guys in the Night's Watch, when really it was a Night's Watch blacksmith. And that just, it meant something more when it was the Night's Watch blacksmith. There was another really big one that we noticed. It had to do with like the little finger thing. Also just things with Ned. Ned seems a little bit more competent maybe not politically, but they show more of his strategy when it comes to setting up like when he's a warrior, he's a leader of war, and you see that better in the books. Like his thinking is always like that. Yeah. In this chapter, we're going to hear how dumb he really is.
God.
Let's say hi to the chat. We got about 15 people here already tonight. We usually get a lot, more coming in later. So let's see who was first tonight. Darren, like my father before me. Hi, everybody. Our new friend, Mateus. Scott. McKinney, one of the greatest mods, one of the new and upcoming mods and artists.
Great artist,
awesome artist. I'm waiting. I put this out here a few weeks ago. I was like, I hope somebody in the chat can make me like a sigil, like a coat of arms. Really, I was talking to you, McKinney, because you're amazing. But if anybody else wants to try a sporking coat of arms, that's what I want to see. Who else do we have? We have Jayne. We have Mason, a YouTuber of his own rights. Please check out Mason's channel. We got a lot of YouTubers. The Time Prophet, great channel. Very new. Let's see who else, ladies. We got Smooth Jam California. How far are you guys into the books now? So chapter 46 through 48, we are where Danny is eating a cow, horse heart. Horse heart, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Ned finds out, sees Robert after he gets skewered, or finds out he was skewered by a boar. No, sees him actually. And then John finding out, taking his vows, which is a great chapter. That's a great chapter. That is a lot of stuff going on. There she is. I was wondering where Tina was. Tina, good evening, friends. Can you believe how late I am? Tina, we're all late in this world. We come when we are meant. We are neither late or early, but come right on time. Deviant Porg. Yes, right? Deviant Porg, or as I like to know him as, is Palnuki. What were you going to say?
I was just saying that's good. I like that.
I tried.
It's like a take on Gandalf.
That's what I was trying.
It's never late.
Thank you for picking that up.
You're welcome.
I feel proud now. And our guest, well, not guest, panelist, Miss Martin Muses. All right, so let's get into this. Jayne, do you have the first chapter?
I do.
All right. For all you guys, where's Bone? Bone ain't here yet. He loves listening to you talk. But happy Dinosaur 8000 made it. All right, everybody.
Happy.
Begin.
The stallion's heart is still raw and steaming when it's placed before Daenerys. As part of the ancient Dothraki motherhood ritual, she begins to eat the tough, stringy flesh. The Dothraki believe that the heart of the stallion will make her son strong and swift and fearless. If she chokes on the blood or retches, the omens are less favorable. The child could be weak, deformed, stillborn, or female. In preparation, Daenerys has eaten bowls of blood and dried horse flesh and fasted for a day and a half, yet still her stomach roils and her jaw aches. Khal Drogo stands over her as she eats, his face hard, but as she continues, Daenerys begins to see pride in his eyes. When she's done, Daenerys pronounces the word she has rehearsed to the Dosh Khaleen, the crones of Vaester Thruck. Even the most powerful Khals bow to the wisdom and authority of these crones, each of whom is the Khaleesi of a dead Khal. The crones proclaim, "The prince is riding, a boy, a strong boy," and begin to chant. After the crowd finishes chanting, there's silence. Then one of the crones announces the greatness of the new prince, the stallion who mounts the world. Daenerys reveals the name of her son, Rhaego, in honor of her older brother. Khal Drogo leads her out of the pit with his blood riders behind, followed by the rest, down the God's Way. As they walk, Drogo asks about the name of their son, and Daenerys explains about her brother, a fierce warrior who died before she was born, the last of the dragons. Drogo declares that it's a good name. Eventually, they arrive at the lake called Womb of the World. Here, Daenerys strips out of her soiled clothing and enters the lake. She cleanses her face and body of the dried blood. When she emerges from the lake, Dorea brings her a robe of sand silk, but Drogo waves her away. Daenerys can see his manhood through her trousers and helps him unlace. With 3 quick strokes, he's done. They ride down the God's Way to Drogo's tent hall, where there's a great feast prepared for those too low of rank to attend the ceremony. As Dany rides up the aisle, the crowd hails the life within her. When she dismounts, Daenerys cannot find Viserys Targaryen. She sees Ser Jorah Mormont in a place of respect in the midst of the hierarchy and invites him to her own table. When Ser Jorah arrives, she asks about Viserys. He explains that her brother went to the market to find wine. Daenerys then questions why he was allowed to go alone, since the usurper would pay well for his head. Ser Jorah assures her that Viserys would be safe, as nobody can carry a blade or shed a man's blood in Vaester Dothrak. Daenerys states that men still die. Some of the merchants have huge eunuchs to strangle thieves bloodlessly. Ser Jorah declares that her brother should be wise enough not to steal anything. The knight goes on to explain that her brother was going to steal her dragon eggs until he threatened to cut off Viserys' hand. Daenerys declares that she would have given Viserys the egg if he had asked. She does owe him for their survival, and he's all she has left of her family. Jorah tells her that she belongs to the Dothraki now. Daenerys asks Ser Jorah about the stallion who mounts the world. He explains that the stallion is the Call of Calls, who's prophesied to unite the Dothraki into a single Khalasar and lead them to conquer the world. Dorea interrupts Daenerys to point out her brother entering the hall in rags, drunk, and carrying a sword. Angry mutterings rise all around her, and the music dies away. Daenerys has a sense of dread and asks Ser Jorah to stop him and bring him to her. Viserys starts screaming for Daenerys and reproaching the indignity of starting the feast before his arrival. Ser Jorah is quickly by his side and tries to stop him, but Viserys jerks free. Then he moves to sit with Drogo and the other Khals. Drogo rises and declares through translation that Viserys' place is not on the high bench, but at the back where the lowest of the low sit, shrouded in shadow so that others do not have to look upon them. Viserys declares drunkenly that that is no place for a king, but Drogo emphasizes that is his place, mocking him as the Sorefoot King and the Cart King. Viserys draws his blade, angering the Dothraki. Then he spots Daenerys and stalks over. She begs him to throw away the sword, but Viserys ignores her. Viserys demands his crown or else he will take Daenerys back, but he'll be happy to cut out her child and leave it for Drogo. To emphasize this point, Viserys presses his sword against her belly hard enough to prick her navel through her silks. Jigwe is sobbing in fear, saying that she dare not translate Viserys' words. If she does, she fears Khal Drogo would drag her behind his horses up the Mother of Mountains. Daenerys agrees to translate instead. After hearing the translation, Drogo makes a statement in Dothraki and steps down from the high bench with his blood riders. Viserys asks, and Daenerys translates, "You shall have a splendid golden crown that men shall tremble to behold." Viserys smiles and declares that it's all he ever wanted. His smile is what saddens Daenerys the most. Drogo orders his blood riders to seize the man who was her brother, breaking his arm and taking away his sword in the process. Drogo puts his belt of golden medallions into an emptied stew pot. Viserys finally realizes what is happening and begins to plead and struggle. So Jorah tells Daenerys to look away, but she refuses. When the gold is half melted, Drogo declares, "Crown for a Cart King," and upends the pot over Viserys' head. Soon it's over. Not a drop of blood is spilled. Daenerys thinks, surprisingly calmly, that Viserys was no dragon, because fire cannot kill a dragon.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That is a badass chapter. That is, oh my God. Because, all right, Teresa, let's start with you.
Well,
what did you think?
Well, this chapter did confirm the known fact that Viserys was too dumb to live. Literally, too dumb to live.
A perfect way of putting it. He really was.
How many times in this chapter, Daenerys is even there pleading, begging him, shut the you-know-what up.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't, and he got exactly what he deserved. I mean, how did he even imagine that he could threaten Drogo's child like that? By I mean, it was like, and live. Yeah. Wow. So it was a very fitting end for Viserys. I was also struck about how Daenerys was going to name the baby after her older brother. I don't know if that was in the show or not.
I don't think she explained it in the show. I know the name is the same.
I don't think they give an explanation.
Yeah,
I don't think they do.
Because in that moment, she's, detailing, and I could see them cutting that part out because it just was the audience knows watching that.
Yeah,
I can't remember that part. Jayne, how did you take in that chapter?
I kind of almost thought he was maybe suicidal a little bit, because all of his plans had gone right. Everything was wrong. Everything was turning against him. No one respected him. He was at his lowest that he's ever been in his life. Right. And it wasn't changing. She was growing more and more powerful. And I think he understood that this child was a competitor of sorts.
Yeah. Oh, God,
rival. Yeah. And she had the army. That child would take the army that he thought belonged to him which meant he was left with nothing. Because
Right.
I don't. In the moment, you aren't that drunk that
Right.
you would do this.
He wasn't gone long enough, I thought. I always just
No.
thought he was delusional. You know, but I think you have a valid point. Like, he went in there with a sword,
Yes.
knowing what the repercussions of that is. And when Drago promises his crown, it's almost like he comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's why I
But
just
not immediately though.
right.
Remember, because in the book she translates and he starts smiling.
Right.
And that's why she feels so sad for him in that moment, because there's like this glimpse of he feels he may get what he wanted.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like
then,
the positive thing he
oh,
wanted.
okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it changes him all of a sudden. He's like, oh my God, it worked. Like, I almost think he thought of a last ditch effort, or he really believed, he's delusional and believed he was a king. And he never understood the Dothraki people, you know?
I think you're right about the last ditch effort though.
Yeah.
Maybe up until that moment he was kind of suicidal.
Yeah.
But then he saw that, okay, well, there may be a glimmer of hope here. I can actually get what I want. She will actually give it to me.
Yeah.
And then he realizes it's too late. He went too far.
Yeah. I don't know, Teresa, is it one of those guys who he was not almost like, oh my God, wow, this just hit me. He's kind of like Ned. So neither one is willing to change to adapt to their surroundings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good point. And
That's a good point.
Yeah, I always got a little bit of an impression about him that he was also a little bit crazy too.
Mhm.
That he was not right in the mind. The way we saw that, how weird and he was with Daenerys, and that he was simultaneously spoiled, rotten, because it seems like everybody was coddling him that he knew. I mean, on the one hand,
quite a bit of time. You're right.
Yeah, and this is it came across like a petulant child who wasn't getting the toy that they wanted.
Yeah. That's a valid point. Put it this way. He for his whole life was the father to Dany, believed he was going to be her husband, was her brother, and also hated the living shit out of her for killing their mother right after their whole family was slaughtered.
That's a lot on somebody's plate.
And he was how old? 6 or 9, somewhere in that range. He became like this protector, you know?
Yeah.
And then when Lord Derry dies, the money, the house, the slaves, I don't know if they were slaves or just people that worked at that house, but they stole all their stuff and took off.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me he didn't know people were calling him a beggar king.
Oh, he knew.
Yeah.
He just pretended like he never heard it. You know what I mean? Like, and the only person he had power over was Dany. He had physical and mental power over her, and he was watching that just go away. So the suicidal thing is actually a very valid point.
It's terrible.
It really is.
I mean, I kind of actually do feel bad for him in that moment.
Oh, I did too. I didn't hate him. I hated his guts, but in that moment where he's smiling, thinking he was going to get like, oh my God, I got it. And even as a reader, you knew he was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daenerys' reaction was interesting though. I didn't expect her to be so calm. It's almost like the dragon switched on, and you see that with her periodically throughout her story, where the internal dragon just switches.
Yeah.
And she becomes strong.
Yeah.
In her view, and very clear in her thinking.
That's a cue. Why the show ended the right way.
Or maybe not. Well, what also I kind of interpreted this time around in the book is maybe she was relieved, like the calm of relief, almost like, thank God he's dead. Like a burden was taken from her.
Right.
not just of her, guy who tormented her, but I mean, he was just dead weight. He was a pain in the butt. And like you were saying about how he's becoming Ned, when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
And he took his opportunity, I guess. I don't know.
But I mean,
And don't
she was willing to give away her eggs for him to just stop.
right. Because again, real quick, I just want to say hello to Storyman Jack. Great YouTube channel, writer, funny guy. You might know him as George B.D. Lucas in Twitter, but he's also Storyman Jack. Check out his YouTube channel. Please subscribe to him. He's really getting more into his YouTube, so please, check him out and help him out, please. So Dany's reaction.
Oh, he turned her baby. I think that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Right there. Mother of dragons. Okay.
Yeah.
She now reverse everything he went through and think about what she got in return from him. So she never felt safe in her life. He treated her like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
She thought she had no future other than being his queen and breeding for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now she got power.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw little by little also dragon dreams giving her the strength to say, you know what, you can never be a dragon.
Right.
And that's her view right there. I mean, a couple chapters prior, she's talking about Jorah. Can he take Westeros?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if somebody else ran this? And
right.
I think she's still thinking Khal or her son, but in this moment, she's realizing she's the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
This is the moment where the dragon is born.
Yeah. And I think hearing about the prophecy helped that. I'm sure that was running in the back of her mind too. It isn't him. It's not Viserys.
Right.
Ooh.
At Sporky News Podcast, I found a site and the publisher gives CDs full of free books. We can share to promote the books. Let's talk about it okay. Yeah. GOT style. Sounds cool to me. Yeah. Oh my God. There's so much going on. Now let's get back to her eating that heart.
Ew. And the way they describe it in the books is so detailed.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I was thinking about actually reading that. I was thinking about reading it too.
There's no way. I would have just walked out. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. But she's showing her strength, her inner strength. Have any. Right. Thinking about the crones though, and thinking about, where she may end up and the power her son will have. And, just all these things coming into one. But I can't remember when I read it. Is she thinking about herself at all in that moment?
I can't remember. I think she was just going through thinking she has to. I think she actually wanted to make Khal Drogo proud.
Yeah.
She kept looking at him and she wanted to be the strong Khaleesi that he saw in her. So I think it was part of their sort of bonding experience. And she didn't want to disappoint him. I think she talks about how she prepared for it. They had been preparing for some time. Yeah.
That's right.
Be ready.
I mean, it's a raw freaking heart.
Yeah.
She'd been eating pieces of raw meat all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and also how she felt about her son. That she was thinking she wanted to do it for her son as well.
Very much so.
Strong, yeah.
I mean, I believe. Well, we could talk about more chapters in Game of Thrones, but we'll just try to stick here. Again, it's not her thinking of herself. She is always either thinking of Khal Drogo, her brother, or her son having what power they need to have. While I believe she doesn't realize she is gaining this inner strength. She does, but she doesn't realize how much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, but this is the moment it solidifies that she is the last dragon.
Mm-hmm.
She possesses the power of the glow. Anyone? No? Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I love this chapter. I do. And I love Jorah too.
I love how they did it. Now this scene and how it played out in the show, I did enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
I mean, look, right after he burns him, and then he does that power dance, like, I will give you. Oh no, that was another scene, wasn't it? I'm trying to think of what he does after he burns him with the gold. That's not where he tells her he will give her the throne, right? Is it?
No, I don't think so. No, I mean, I think
Or was that after the usurper sent the assassin? I'm trying to remember how they did it in the show. Because I just remember, tell me, Teresa, Jason Momoa
Jason.
is what I envision now when I think Khal Drogo.
Oh yes.
The guy was a beast.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Jason Momoa. That's all. That's a noun, a verb, a pronoun, a conjunction, and infinity.
Yeah.
All right. You ladies. Mateus is right. Dany is so much better in the books. She is so much more fierce. And she just, I think Emily Clark did great with the role she was given. I actually think some of her best acting was in the final season. But the way George writes every character, really. But Dany in the book, I agree with that. Dany is so much better in the book.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Bruce Leroy. Thank you. God, show enough. Oh, he says it. Show enough. Shogun of Harlem. What a great movie. Last Dragon, everyone. Check it out. Damn it, they killed Aquaman. What else? You guys got anything else about this chapter?
Oh.
I'm trying to think. I had notes. I told everybody I had notes. I left them at work. So I'm trying to remember things I might have wrote down, like little things that caught me. Any symbolism you guys saw? Anything that might foretell the future, but we won't do any spoilers?
Well, you mentioned Jorah earlier. There was this one scene where the call says something really quick, and Daenerys can't translate it because he says it too fast, but Jorah translates, and it infuriates Viserys. And I always wondered whether he accurately translated it because he knew he wanted to provoke him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
You know how Jorah is.
Yeah, I keep hearing an echo. I don't know if that's me because it happened last stream too. Is it you, Jayne? Jayne? It is you, Jayne.
It shouldn't be.
It's okay. Shouldn't be?
It's not. No.
I
just heard it.
Is it me? Is it me?
Yep.
I don't know. Huh? Mocking bird. Are you both mute? Mock. Oh, maybe it's me. Hold on. You guys talk.
Hello? How are you?
Hello.
Aquaman.
A little farther away from my ears. Okay. So, oh shit, I still hear it. Oh God. What was I going to say? Okay, good. Did anybody in the chat hear it? Cause I'm weird about that. So listen, I agree with you guys. Jayne, that's a perfect catch. Jorah realized chapters ago that he wanted to support Dany.
Yes.
I mean, that was the part where he was tied behind the horse, Viserys. That was the chapter you could tell he was going to support Dany no matter what.
Yeah.
So could he have translated that for him to get killed?
I think he did. Because why else wouldn't we know? Why else wouldn't we know through Dany what was said? Like, I think that's George.
That's a slip in there. George might have been still setting up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm trying to chime my stuff here. Sorry. Keep talking, ladies. Just give me a second.
Jason Momoa.
Don't do that. Like, then we'll be distracted.
Yeah. That's all that really needs to be said.
Yeah.
Darren, good night, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. Hopefully you can check the replay.
Good night.
Let's see what the chat has to say before we move on to the next. Let's see. I already showed this one, but I'll read it. Viserys was completely broken by this point, and he finally snapped after months of being treated as second fiddle to Dany by Dothraki. I don't even know if it was a second fiddle. He was at rock bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like the viola section by this point.
And it was all his own fault. I mean, he wasn't acting like a king. He was acting like a brat.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Viserys was a jerk. The fact he thought he would get an army, he was really naive from him. Yeah.
I mean, he had an army.
I really believe he had to wait. Impatience, right?
Yeah. And disrespect.
Oh, yeah. Right. Oh, I already read Bruce Leroy one more time because I love it. Here we go. Emily Clark was great. Bone, I completely agree. She was amazing. I loved her in the show. She gave Daenerys in the first few seasons what I expected Dany to become.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody was very well towards the end. So I don't think as Emily's fault, D&D didn't make justice for the character. Well, we have heard recently, and you were the one who turned me on to that channel.
The Dragon Demands.
Dragon Demands. Yeah. You watch that too, Teresa?
Yes. He has very good content. He gets a little bit emotional, but his content, objectively speaking, is good.
Right. I enjoy he is very, he has his facts.
Yes.
But I do enjoy the emotional side. Like he feels it because I get that way. I get so angry. And when I found out that they lied to Amelia Clark about the ending, that aggravated me to no end. Yes, I am using it in my audio reviews. Oh, you guys must be talking about something else. Only George R. R. Martin could kill characters from another medium. At Jayne Theory, if you like Jason Momoa,
bruh,
should watch the series.
Listen, let me be very clear here. I simp for Jason Momoa. Okay, there is nothing he has been in that I have not seen. Okay, yeah.
How is Frontier? How is Frontier?
It is amazing. And in fact, I did a video review of it. So go to my channel and check it out.
There we go.
It is fantastic.
I haven't caught that.
He looks great in it. Yeah.
Hey, look.
It's good, though. It's a really good series.
He made Aquaman cool, right?
He did.
That's really hard. No
one thought he could pull it off.
Steven, how are you tonight? No. I don't know what you're knowing, but I love it. He's genius that can only come from someone with media. Am I missing something?
He's a genius that can only
Darkman reference, maybe?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Women can simp?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
You haven't heard that I'm a what am I, a thotty? I'm a thotty,
You're
bro.
a thotty.
Yeah. I'm
what?
a thotty. Like what is a thought on Twitch? I'm a thotty on TikTok.
You are.
I'm gonna get there someday. And talking about that, please make sure you watch my playlists. Let them run while you're at home washing dishes or something. I am under 400 more hours needed to monetize. So if you can help a brother out by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, I'd really appreciate that. Right now we have 20 likes, so we only have like 15, 16 people in the chat, so I appreciate it. Sparky News Podcast. Hell, I almost simped for Jason Momoa. That is a cool dude. He really is. He really is. The Dragon Demands is the kind of passionate. Am I saying that right?
Passionate.
Passionate. I like that. Passionate genius. That only comes from someone with medieval history graduation.
Yes.
Well,
my only thing is that he has a feeling toward Benioff.
Yes.
That is almost a little too personal.
He saw a passion.
Yeah, I mean, it's beyond. Yeah, that's where I think he needs to chill.
But he acknowledges it. He acknowledges it, though.
Yeah.
He'll tell you.
He'll
Like
tell
Benny,
you.
like they were used to go out drinking, right?
Did they?
Oh, you ever hear those stories?
With the
You don't
dragon
need that part?
demands?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I
Oh.
thought you guys were talking about Momoa. Go on.
No, I was gonna say what? Well, no wonder he feels so slighted.
Okay. I thought you said something positive, so I jumped right to Momoa. Are you saying he dislikes Benioff?
He does.
Oh yes. I mean, that's what I'm saying about the dragon demands is
I'm with him.
yeah,
Same.
just but his content is undeniable.
He backs up everything he says, which is
Mhm.
great.
I personally can't stand David Benioff. I think DB Weiss was the one who first read the book and brought it to Dave.
Mhm.
DB Weiss, I think, had a passion for it, but realized the egotistical maniac that Weiss became even more after season 1. He realized, I just got to go along with this. I really feel DB Weiss just kind of, I'm making history right now with this show. I'm making money. I'm famous. But David Benioff thought he created a Song of Ice and Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why his anger is with him. I can't stand the guy. I can't.
Me either.
Respect to Momoa for sticking by his pal Snyder for so long. Not a big Snyder guy, but it couldn't have been easy being very pro Snyder release at Warner Brothers. He was the first one to come out. I respect him for that. The Dragon Demands. I love it when he slags D&D. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Me too, bro. Sean Moonshine, thank you for stopping in. People check out Ryan Dawson ANC report and his channel on here, as well as Liz Crokin. Look at the evidence available and keep your minds open but critical. Please watch out of the shadow 17 mil have.
Okay.
If you're talking like Q type of stuff, I got your back, bro. I don't know who these guys are, but rep whoever you want in my chat until I'm huge. Then I could just be like, goodbye. But right now, hey, subscribe. Let me see. We won't get wins anytime soon. Gutted. Okay.
Well, he spent the entire weekend hosting an award show. Like, dude.
George, I defend you passionately, man. I defend you against Gary. I defend you. Why?
And he betrayed you again.
Yeah.
He lets us down.
I just think he wrote himself into a corner. The show became something he could not control and he disliked. And I think he lost the taste of this world, and it's taken him so long and COVID to even get back into it. I don't know how much he has written, but the stuff he has written, I mean, the Forsaken chapter might be the best chapter he ever wrote.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm giving him a chance. I don't know about the second book, but at least the Winds of Winter, we will get at some point.
I think we will.
Yeah. It will give me time to catch up. I have to read all the Dune books first.
Yeah. Or you can go to Nerd Cookie's channel. She breaks down everything with Dune.
Kills it. I've learned so much from her. Geez, seems like Benioff is worst boss you could have to work for. Look, man, watch and our watch ended or whatever that documentary that came on the week after the final show. They're still showing it on HBO. Benioff walks in and like people are frightened. He doesn't even like allow people to make eye contact. Like, I really believe that. Like, no one looks him in the eye.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, he worked them all to death. I mean, remember that scene of that one woman just crying and crying and crying?
Yeah.
Or even the Battle of the Bastards. Like, he was going to get people killed.
Yep.
They had to talk him out of certain things he was trying to do.
Yeah, and it was going to hurt horses. And they were like, we can't do that. It will hurt the horses.
What a douche. If I was a millionaire, do I write a book or watch TV? Write a book or watch TV? Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust Q, but please watch out of Shadows. I believe I know what you're talking about. I will check it out, man. 2022, I reckon. And
What's
I'm following because
2022?
I'm like
Is
wondering.
that the end of days? Because we need that to happen this year.
It could be. It could be the Antichrist, or it could be the
Well, he needs to go ahead and get started.
sealed indictments. You never know.
The trumpet
Shadows
being blown, just kick it off.
Girl, what?
Well, it's broken. I know. Like, shut up. Look, what I'm saying is this: 2020 is pretty bad. 1501 probably sucked too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
What happened in 1501?
I don't know. I'm pulling the date out of
I
my
was gonna
ass.
say, I mean, 1508 sucked, but
I was trying to remember when the Black Plague started.
Oh, dude, that was long before.
That was like 13, or was that like
that's
1,000?
1300? Yeah,
damn it.
yeah.
What was 1508?
Well, that's when a lot of the wars were going on with the Papal States and with like Spain and Henry VIII and all of them, or Henry, or at that point was it still Henry VII?
Yeah,
but
it was 7th.
And they had cholera plagues every 5 days. I mean, come on, it sucked.
Yeah, it was hell.
Sweating sickness.
Yep, I'm telling you, I love history. I wish I always screw up dates though, so that's awesome that you know that. That is awesome. Yeah, Benioff is a rich daddy's boy. We got to move on because I'm going to be screaming. Oh, you said he meant 2022 is when we're going to get the book.
Oh,
not the apocalypse.
Oh.
So, okay.
Is it both?
Right.
Oh man, if the world,
the book, he'll announce the book's release, and then it'll be the book,
and then the world ends. That would be
book
such
the first seal. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh man, and God's just there laughing.
That would be so funny.
George needs to ride in on a white horse, a pale white horse.
Oh gosh, no.
That would be so funny.
The winds of winter.
Exactly.
Oh my God, it fits.
Think about it. Think about it.
You heard it here first.
1501 might have been the Renaissance. I don't know. I don't remember dates. Like I said, 1492, Ocean Blue. 1320-ish. Okay, Black Death. God damn. I like my chat. You guys are smart. I'm just going to start reading this next summary. Oh, and by the way, we usually take our summary from Westeros.org just to make it easier for us to, break it down because we are busy people. We all have read chapters, reread chapters and reread chapters. But if you do want to find the best, quick summaries on the chapters of any of the Song of Ice and Fire books, check out Westeros.org. All right. My summary. I got to turn this off so I can read. Get into the mood. We were talking Ned Stark. I want to say this is Ned 14. Ned 13. Okay. Ned is dreaming of walking through the crypts beneath Winterfell. The kings of winter watch him with eyes of ice, and the direwolves at their feet snarl. Finally, he comes to the tomb where his father sleeps with Lyanna and Brandon beside him. Lyanna's statue whispers, "Promise me, Ned." And her eyes weep blood. Ned jerks awake with someone pounding at his door. The king's steward tells Ned that King Robert demands his presence at once. When Ned reaches Maegor's holdfast, he finds the king's guard guarding the bridge, the steps, and the royal apartment. Ned only has to look at Sir Barristan Selmy, who is waiting outside the king's bedchambers, to know something is terribly wrong. Inside the bedchamber, he finds Robert in bed with Grandmaster Pycelles, Renly Baratheon, and Cersei Lannister gathered around him. The room smells of smoke, blood, and death. Tattered and blood-stained clothes littered the floor. Ned can see that his friend is dying. Renly explains that it was a boar, and Robert curses himself for drinking too much wine and missing his thrust. When Ned asks where the rest of them were, Renly explained that Robert had called everyone off to try to take the boar himself. Ned lifts the blanket and verified that they have done what they can to close the rip from groin to nipple, but is not nearly enough. The smell of death is horrible and overpowering. Robert declares that even he can smell it, but still takes pride in having killed the boar. which he wants served at his funeral feast. Robert then orders everyone but Ned to leave. Pycelle tries to give Robert the milk of the poppy before leaving, but Robert refuses. Once they are gone, Ned damns Robert for being so headstrong. Robert damns Ned right back, declaring that he killed the boar and should have done the same to Ned for not leaving him to hunt in peace. He then admits that Ned was right about Dany and asserts the boar was sent by the gods to punish him. Robert then expresses gratitude and admiration that Ned was the only one to tell him that he was wrong. Robert tells Ned to write his final testament, in which he names Ned as Lord Regent and Protector of the Realm until his son comes of age. Ned cannot bring himself to tell Robert that Joffrey is not his son, so instead he clandestinely changes the words to "my heir," feeling soiled as he does so. Ned tells Robert that he cannot die because the realm needs him, but Robert replies that the realm knows what a wretch king he was, as bad as Aerys. Ned insists that Robert was not as bad as Aerys, and Robert declares that at least the one thing he did right, he has declared Ned as regent, and Ned will do it well. Robert signs the document and tells Ned that they are to serve the boar at his funeral feast. He then asks that Ned rescind the death warrant on Dany and also to help his son be better than he has been. Before Ned leaves, the king mumbles that he ought to laugh at being killed by a pig, but it hurts too much. The queen has left, but the rest come back in. The king has Renly and Pycelle bear witness to his placing the seal on the letter. Then the king asks for a drink, the milk of the poppy. As he fades off to sleep, he asks Ned if he will dream, and Ned assures him he will. Then Robert declares that he will give Ned's love to Lyanna. Last of all, Robert requests that Ned guards his children. Unable to tell the truth, unable to lie, all Ned can think of is Robert's bastard when he tells him that he will. Pycelle tells Ned that he's done all he can, but the wound has already mortified because it was 2 days to get Robert back. When Ned asks how long, he is told by rights the king should be dead already. Renly adds that Robert was already strong, though perhaps not wise, recounting that Robert slew the boar even with his guts hanging out. Ned replies admirably that Robert was never one to leave the battle with an enemy standing. Sir Barristan is still standing outside, and Ned tells him that the king is not to be disturbed. Sir Barristan laments. How do you say that word? Laments. Sorry, guys, that he has failed his sacred trust. Ned reassures the old knight that no one can defend a man against himself, and even the king blamed the wine. The knights admit that Robert was reeling drunk. Varys, who has just appeared, asked who gave Robert all the wine, and Sir Barristan tells them it was the king's elder squire, Lancel Lannister. Varys states that he hopes the lad does not blame himself. Ned informs Varys that the king wants the assassination of Dany canceled. Varys tells him that those birds have flown. Tomard and Cain are helping Ned across the bridge when Renly catches up and asks for a private word. Renly asks if Robert will make him regent, and knowing his answer, tells Ned that he has 100 swords to offer him. Renly declares that if they strike now, they can take the Red Keep and seize the royal children. Ned refuses, stating that while Robert is still alive, he will not shed blood in the castle. Renly insists that every moment Ned delays gives Cersei more time to prepare. Ned declares that they should pray for Robert's recovery. Sometimes the gods are merciful. Renly answers that the Lannisters are not. By the time he returns to the castle or the tower, Ned is wondering if they should have accepted Renly, or if he should have taken Renly's offer. If the queen fights, he will need every sword he can get. He has no taste for their intrigues. Ned first asks Cain to bring Littlefinger to him. Then he tells Tormund 20 men to escort his daughters to the ship. He then tells Tormund to stop at Dragonstone on the way and deliver a letter to Lord Stannis for his eyes only. That dude leaves. Ned sits in grief for his friend and thinks how he had betrayed the king's friendship and disinherited his sons. He hopes that the gods will know better and that Robert will learn the truth in the land beyond the. Wow. So let me read that one more time. Thinks how some will say that he had betrayed his king's friendship and disinherited his sons. But he hopes that gods will know better and that Robert will learn the truth in the lands beyond the grave. He then tells, Ned reflects that Regency will be short and then he can return to Winterfell. Littlefinger arrives and congratulates him. When asked how he knows, Littlefinger says Varys told him. Ned damns Varys, his birds, the state, everything. Littlefinger declares that Ned is learning. Ned says he knows the secret about Jon Arryn. Littlefinger lack of reaction tells the truth that he already knew. Ned declares his intention, but Littlefinger says he would be wise to bow to Joffrey. Stannis is not a friend of Ned or Littlefinger, and he'll, change the small council and add new people, and he will not love Ned for what he does. Stannis will seek the heads of the Cersei and the kids to cement his position on the Iron Throne, and then Tywin will have to respond, and then the Tyrells and the Red Wines, and pretty much war. And I did have this written down, but it doesn't say it here. They just talk about how, everything that's happened. Joffrey's unstable. Ned declares that he is going to call on the aid of Littlefinger's promised Catelyn. Cersei has 12 knights and 100 men at arms, enough to overwhelm his household guard because he gave them all away. Littlefinger then points out there are lords that have no love for the Lannisters. Ned states they are not enough. He needs Littlefinger to secure the city watch. Littlefinger insists that when the hand proclaims one king and the queen another, the gold cloaks will side with the one who pays better. With that in mind, Littlefinger states that he will meet with the city watch. Janos Slynt bribe him 6,000 gold dragons. Sorry that was so long, everybody, but it was worth it. Please, someone talk, because this chapter, Ned does so many dumb shit moves. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, so did Robert.
Yes.
As we start from the beginning, why was he up there hunting with no Meister with him? Someone should have
That
been
is a
there
valid question.
in case someone was injured.
Mm-hmm.
In a previous chapter, we saw Robb and Bran go out and they had their Meister.
Yes.
So that seems suspicious by itself.
Yeah. Well, what the heck was he doing hunting anyways? There was all this stuff going on. I mean,
well, that's what he does.
So many different levels.
He wanted to get away. He didn't want to be a king and do kingly things.
He was a jerk, yeah.
But he did it in such a stupid way.
I do love it. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Varys. I hope no one blames the boy. Doesn't blame himself.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't blame himself.
I mean, he's trying to give Ned the answers.
Yes. Did you get a sense that he caught that?
Yes, but I don't know if I caught that in the show or in the book.
Wait. Let me clarify. Who was giving who the answer there? So
when Varys asked who was giving the king wine, and they said his page or whatever, Lancel Lannister, and Varys stops and looks at, I believe he looks at Ned and says, "I hope the boy doesn't blame himself." Pretty much saying he's a freaking Lannister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got that right away. Yeah.
But did Ned get it? Do you think Ned?
No, because Ned's dumber than a rock at this point.
Ugh.
Yeah.
He's telling him he got him drunk.
Right.
They did it on purpose.
First of all, I'm sorry. The Americas, okay? I know my history. Time Prophet. The Americas have been around for a little while. Okay, you English snobs. I love you, buddy. Love you.
Ooh.
Wow.
In 1527, Rome had 48,000 people living on the city. After the siege, the population was reduced to 10,000. Now, was that the Germans? I'm forgetting their names. Teresa. It was
Wait, what are you talking about?
Gauls? Was it the Gauls that sacked Rome in 1527?
Oh, and no, 1527. That was Spain.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was during the papal
yeah,
revolt,
yeah.
right?
Well, yeah. The King of Spain was gonna show the Pope who was really in charge. Yeah.
Yep. That
Yeah.
was not. Oh, what was his name?
Which one?
Charles V.
Charles V. Yes. Yes. He.
Really Roman
That
Emperor?
dude had a lot of pull.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
the brother of Catherine of Aragon. But
Yes.
we're really digressing here. So
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's Ned T-5 LOL. Okay. So, I mean,
Yeah.
even Ned not telling him because his honor, the kids, like.
Well, also,
He had a point,
even on
though.
his deathbed, Robert probably would have ordered them all murdered. So,
Yeah. Oh, but I was ready to kill Ned when he was like, "Gee, I wonder why Cersei hasn't run away yet." And I'm like, "Yeah, I wonder why, dummy."
But then in the next phrase, he's like, "Oh, she'll get 100 men at arms, and go." So he knows, like, it's like he's a moron. Like, she's going to fight.
yeah,
Like,
the Lannisters are fighters. That's what they do.
yes,
Was the wine laced?
Nice. Oh,
I mean, the way he was drinking. Yeah, because he did ask
No.
about
that's the point.
the thing.
The wine was laced. It was meant to get him very drunk, so there would be an accident.
Mm.
We find that out a little later on.
Yeah, but I was just remembering that Varys kept talking about the sack that the wine was in. Again, trying to give Ned hints.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ned's a moron, but I do
You
think
know
Ned
better
caught
than to just say, "I gotta bash him over the head over it."
Right.
What do I need to tell this guy?
Ned Stark was too much like Ned Flanders. All right, I'm stopping with the chat for a minute because I got to think about this chapter. You guys are awesome. Okay, so so he's trying to get Robert. Like, he can't tell Robert. Robert is cut from. I forgot he was like gashed from groin to nipple. That thing messed him up, and he still killed that son of a bitch. Dude, Robert was a beast.
Yep.
The show did him. I love the actor in the show. Don't get me wrong, but the show didn't do justice of the size of Robert.
Right.
Robert was a brooding, huge man. And they also didn't do Renly justice in the show because he was supposed to be a spitting image of young Robert.
Mm-hmm.
And they made him way too fancy.
Pretty. Yeah.
Feminine. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, he mentions that Robert was a good looking guy when he was younger. So he would have been attractive. It's just
he would have been, but he would have been
bigger.
Manly. Yeah.
Right.
So like Brandon Stark.
Right. Brandon Stark style. So all Ned can muster up is changing the word from my son to my heir.
Yeah.
And then they had it in this summary. I hate the part where he's like, "I'll think of taking care of your bastards." Yes. Like, he is so, it's not, I don't think it's honor at times. It's like this, his honor is to a fault. So what is worse than, it's not pride, but it's this warped sense of honor that Ned Stark has. That is the downfall of Ned Stark. The freaking Starks.
Maybe he's trying too hard to be honorable. Like he's trying to live up to the image or the reputation.
Right. I also, when he thinks, I caught two meanings to it. When he thinks about, he hopes Robert finds out the truth when he reaches the gods. I always assumed it was about what he did and that it wasn't like he tried to take over being king. But I also wonder if, because he said, "I'll say hello to Lyanna for you." Was it something that had something to do with the Lyanna part of it?
Yeah, that's the truth. I think he wanted him to find in the afterlife.
Right. I feel like it had a dual meaning though. Because he doesn't want his friend to think he took his, overthrew his freaking family, his kids. But I also think it had a lot to do with that. There's so much going on. I got to say, Renly was right.
He was.
Renly was right. And am I right? And Littlefinger was right. I mean,
yes.
Gosh, Littlefinger told him exactly what to do to survive. He like laid it out, drew a picture with stick people and all, and arrows and little cartoons, and
went right over his head.
Still didn't get it.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And something that always got me too is that, again, I hate going back to the show, but if you were just a show watcher, Renly wants to be king in the show. He doesn't want to be king in the books. He doesn't want his brother Stannis to take over.
Right.
So he wants Ned to seize the boys. And why doesn't he tell Renly the truth?
Ugh. So friggin' honorable. It's ridiculous.
But that's not honorable. That's stupidity.
I know, but he thinks it's honorable.
I think maybe he was concerned that Renly would try to take the throne, I guess.
Because or maybe he was afraid Renly would do the same thing as Robert, maybe kill the children.
Both, I think. I didn't think of it that way. Maybe the show in a way just jumped that part, because what would Renly think? My brother Stannis isn't the right king.
Mm-hmm.
You need to take over. You need to be the regent. But if he found out they were illegitimate,
I think it's between him and Stannis. Exactly. Right. And he's there. So he would probably take over right then and there. And wow, you're absolutely I don't know how that would be a bad thing. Just Ned, you would just go home. Leave it to them to fight out.
Yes.
Go home, at that moment. And this is the thing too. All this time, everything Ned has done has been to keep Robert alive.
Right.
He's not catching that he's been murdered.
Right.
And now he's essentially dead. You have no reason to stay.
Right.
Tell everybody the truth and dodge the place. Just get out.
Leave a note.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait till he's on the ship with his daughters and they're safe. That's the other thing. Think of your own children, Ned, for the love of everything.
I love that you just said that. I wouldn't be sending other men with 20 guys to go escort my daughters. I would be taking my daughters.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Right then, that night, when Robert died, you have no other reason to be there.
Get the hell out of there.
Get out of Dodge. Send a raven.
Send a raven.
Call it a day.
Bye, Felicia. I'm out.
Send it via airmail.
And all your people with you in the north now, so they can't come to fight you. They're going to be fighting each other. You're safe. You could even go up there and declare yourself king. Who's going to care? Because they're fighting over King's Landing.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. He means to say Joffrey here. The actor who played Joffrey, his name is just slipped my mind. He's such a great actor. Hated the part so much though. He gave up on acting. There was a little more into that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He did give up acting.
He may get back into it later.
Yeah, right. He wanted to go to school and experience all that.
And actors are better when they do that. When they are kid actors, they take a break and then come back as adults. Yes. They do so much better, I think.
Yeah, they go off to college and be normal for a bit.
Yeah.
Right. Experience life. He does like a speech at a college where he is down like the typical college, like stadium seating and chalkboard down at the bottom. If you could find that, watch it. He is hilarious. It's like a 45-minute, presentation he does about like acting or something. The kid is great. The Ned Flanders thing was perfect, Bone. You were absolutely hilarious, dude. The chat just jumped on me highly. Keep talking. I'm just going to go through the chat and highlight some stuff, but anything else you guys saw?
Well, we mentioned Renly being right.
Littlefinger being right.
I think the show didn't play up just how smart Renly is. He would actually have been a good ruler. And we get a hint here at how much power he has behind him too.
Right. Because he has 100 men, right?
Right there. Ready to go.
So why even okay, Ned, Your Honor, I get that. But why even give him an answer no right away?
Right. And that's the other thing with Ned. He doesn't consult, he doesn't talk to people first. He talks to Varys after the fact. He talks to Littlefinger after he's already made his decision. Dude.
Maybe it's almost pride. Like maybe he knows better than everybody.
Right. Sean, no, they didn't bend the knee. They joined them. Yeah. Yeah, Ned wasn't great at reading people. I think, you know what, Sean, I don't know if I agree with that. I think Ned could read people. Not everybody, like a Littlefinger, a Varys, those guys are like on another level than everybody. But he could read people. He just didn't believe people would take it to the next level. He was warned. You play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. He didn't believe it. He believed his honor and doing the right thing would get him through. And but yet he's still, I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Because he knew something was going on, or he wouldn't have been sending his daughters away. He wouldn't have given his wife instructions to prepare for war. So maybe he was pushing these thoughts away.
Right.
He had them, but he was pushing them back in the back of his mind. But like again, all of this was for Robert, and Robert is now dead. Okay?
Yeah.
Like there's no point, there's no purpose.
No.
Well, and he should have at least had a sense of urgency. That's what's also driving me crazy. It's like, dude, just speed it up a little bit.
I'm so glad you just said that, because I don't know why we didn't say that first. He is taking his ever-loving time.
Yeah.
Like, and he's warned Cersei every minute is getting stronger.
Yeah.
And I like how Littlefinger, and hello to everybody in the chat. We have some more people in here. Please hit the like button, share, like, comment, all that good stuff. I like how Littlefinger breaks it down for him, or was it Renly? Like, if Stannis was the one to take over, there'd be death. There'd be wars. The smartest thing for him to do is just become the regent, take the kids under his protection, but treat them right, treat them like they're the heirs. And when the moment is right, boom. What up?
And you could see, like, I mean, Littlefinger is right. You could see what happens with Joffrey. You could train him, send him somewhere to be taken care of and learn under someone else.
And Robert admits he was a horrible father.
Yeah.
He never
you have
spent
4
time
years to
with
fix
him.
it.
Yep. It's possible Ned needs humility, as he always assumes honor is the answer for everything.
That's
well
it.
put. That's
well,
it
and
right
his
there.
definition of honor too, honor from his point of view.
Right.
Yep. I do find it, Sean said it a second ago. I do find it kind of interesting. It's not a perfect comparison, but when he killed Rhaegar, he smashed in his chest plate, caving in his chest and his lower upper abdomen area. The boar took him out up to his nipple. I don't know,
Yeah.
something about that always made me think of it
Ouch.
was ouch, but he got what he gave.
Yeah, he did.
He was a great warrior, but this boar just got him. And the wine, Ned, the wine.
Duh.
Oh, and the boar, apparently, I didn't know this, I just looked it up, is the sigil of House Crackle, which has fealty to House Lannister.
Wow. Symbolism. Holy crap. Now, who was with him too? It was Renly, it was Barristan, it was Lancel. I know he sent some people back early.
Yeah.
But I know there were a couple guys and he made them all, back up. I always wonder though, Sir Barristan should have known better. He has to listen to his king. But I almost feel like Renly and, backed off, knowing his brother was hammered, knowing that he could get hurt, but still allowed it to happen.
Yeah, because he didn't have to. That was his brother.
Right.
He could have been like, no, sorry.
No, man. Right. Exactly. They were closer than either Stannis was with either one of them.
Exactly.
The heir in Littlefinger's approach when mentioning Stannis would kill the kids to secure the throne. Exactly. He was,
and that's why he said it.
And that's why he said it. Thank you, Jane.
He knew what words to use.
I always thought until I read this chapter again that Littlefinger decided after that conversation to do what he does. I think he was planning it the whole time. He was never going to side with Ned.
He was never going to perhaps side with Ned, but he was going to be prepared just in case he did.
There you go.
Needed
Better way
to.
of putting it. Better way
Yeah.
of putting it.
And that's his way.
Yeah.
Multiple angles.
Exactly.
Plan Bs.
Ned knew what the Lannisters were, yet still dealt with them with honor. You can't beat people with honor when they don't play the game. Exactly.
But how can you believe that the Lannisters would bow down? They've never bowed down.
Nope.
That would never have happened. Tywin wouldn't have allowed it to happen.
I mean, Tywin will wait if he needs to.
Yeah. Do you think not that maybe Ned had a bit of just a bit, of a little bit of sexism in that he underestimated Cersei because she was a woman?
Yes, very much so.
He was like, "Oh, she'll choose the choice for her children."
She'll run away with her children. But this idea that she would run away with her kids and take her father with her.
Yeah.
Tywin Lannister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He wiped out an entire house.
Right.
Because they insulted his family. Insulted his family.
But he thought, I just insulted,
Just not.
Yeah, that he didn't see her as a formidable foe because he underestimated her because of her sex.
But even if he did, how could he underestimate her dad? That's the problem. That's where I'm having a problem.
I think in his mind he wasn't there, so he wasn't a player yet.
Yeah.
But the problem is Ned based his decisions on motherhood. And Cersei in the books is not a good mother.
No, she didn't care.
Cersei in the show showed some love for her. Well, in the show, she showed love for her children. She loved Joffrey. She loved Marcella. She loved Tom. And in the show, she didn't, or in the book, she doesn't. No, she doesn't care about her kids as much as everyone thinks she does.
So he didn't believe that they would put power over parenthood.
Exactly.
He didn't know them very well.
Because, like Teresa's saying, he just assumed she's a mother.
Yeah, she's going to be like Daenerys's mother. What did she do? She fled with her children.
Right. Yeah. He may be thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the past really had an effect on his decision making now, and maybe some secrets he's holding. I don't know. If Robert and him had a better connection on the trip back down to the Red Keep, I think everything would have been different. But Ned feared Robert's wrath and their bond not being as tight as it used to be.
Right.
Well, and then all that stuff happened with the kids and the little boy being basically murdered, the little butcher boy.
Yep.
Oh, that messed up everything too on the trip down.
And the killing of Lady.
Which would have been enough for me, but
exactly, I would have been.
I'd have been like, screw this, man. These people are crazy.
He had every opportunity to turn back.
He did. But Catelyn talked him into going. Don't forget that. Do not forget that, people.
I can't stand her.
Yeah, I don't know. Littlefinger is a spy master. Why in the season 7 they made him a wanker? Could we write David and Dan?
They can't write.
They can't write George.
Yeah, he got foiled by those pesky kids.
Oh my God. First of all, oh my God, I hate that.
That's
show
just
so
painful.
much.
Yeah,
it really is. That season, that Littlefinger losing to Sansa in that way. I'm sorry, no. I'm hoping Sansa becomes a player of the games, but then again, there's only 2 books left, no time jump, and Sansa's still learning. I don't know how he's going to do it.
Well, even in the show, they sort of
started it
as becoming sort of Dark Sansa, and then suddenly she's a victim again. I mean, this is
they changed their mind in season 5.
Oh my God. I'm with you. The show made Cersei sympathetic at times because D&D wanted Lena Headey to get more shine. I agree. She's a great actress.
Awards.
Yeah, they were obsessed with the actors.
They were, and awards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted
to get her an Emmy.
Right. They wanted to hang out with the actors. That's where I was going before. There's like interviews with David Benioff, like, oh, I'm so hungover. Me and Jason Momoa were out last night. Like, you're such a tool, dude. You're a freaking producer, showrunner. Just stick to that. Like, why all of a sudden
It's not a
people
frat
like,
house.
Exactly.
right? Like, I understand in the 80s, the 70s, there were big name directors, but why are producers and showrunners now so like the thing? I'm so sick of it. I don't care, about him. I don't care about J.J. Abrams. I don't care about Kathleen Kennedy. Like, allow the artists, the director and the cast to do it right and have true writers that understand, like a George R.R. Martin, understand what they're doing.
They want
That's why
attention too.
that's why I still have some faith for this the spinoff, the Dragon, House of the Dragon, because George is involved in it. No book yet, but
he doesn't need to be.
yeah, but at least he got to pick the writer. He created it with the writer. Let's hope it's at least decent, because
they have a complete book, so there shouldn't be any issues.
Yes. Even though they, for some reason, don't seem to be starting at the beginning of the book. They want to jump right to the Dance with Dragons, but whatever.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah. We have somebody new writing something in the chat.
Well, it will be a limited series.
Oh, Toby Moss. How you doing, bro? What'd you say?
It'll be a limited series, so it's not a full show. So.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
10 episodes.
I don't really count the show anymore. The dialogue turned into gruffs and corny sound bites and a lot of walking and staring.
Lots of staring.
And oh my God, I don't know who talked about it. The last season, if they didn't show Cersei with a glass of wine in her hand doing the sip, and then in the last episode, something falling and shattering the glass, the symbolism, they're so genius. Oh, I hate those guys.
Gee whiz, that's the kind of symbolism I did in 8th grade English class.
Right. But they couldn't get rid of the water bottles. I don't understand.
Yeah, or coffee cups.
Coffee cups. Maybe Sansa won't be part of the game. After the war with Army of the Dead, she will be part of the Stark court. Maybe more than that in the North. People want to back a Stark no matter who they are.
Yeah. I could see her being queen in the North.
But
she has to get there, and they haven't gotten her there in the show properly.
I don't know about queen, but lady. She would be like Lady Stark, but like the Lord Lady Stark.
Like Lord Protector?
Yeah, like Lord Protector first.
So you don't see the Stark becoming the house, not the North becoming independent?
I don't know.
I definitely do.
There's a lot.
I do, but I don't see it as the way it is in the show, where it's just like, can I please have my own independent kingdom? Okay, sister. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Well, if you're going to be king, I want my own country too. I freaking hate that show. Well, welcome to Sporky News Podcast, where we bitch about that show a year and 3 months after it's over. Whatever.
Yeah.
I will never stop bitching about that show.
Right.
I hate that show. I can't even watch the first seasons anymore because I know what's going to happen. Shit. Yeah. Do you think the TV series changed the way George R.R. Martin is writing the book? Definitely. Without the TV series, the book may have been different. Definitely.
I think he has his outline, and I think he's going to stick with it. I don't think the show changed it. I hope.
I think his gardening changed.
You think so?
Yep. I think he stopped writing season 7 to see where the hell they were going with this. He literally was tweeting about a different show on the finale night of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that was deliberate.
That was delicious. It was, I mean, the man, yeah, I'm sorry. We are so off base. Ned was the leader in the North. Everybody was using his pride to manipulate him. Exactly.
Yeah.
People knew that was his game. Like, he really was.
I also think he was, the North is sort of like the country bumpkins. Like, people don't really give them much credit. or pay them much attention.
Right.
And so they under on the one hand they were underestimating him because he could have been a more powerful player,
Mm-hmm.
but he sort of lived up to that reputation of just being completely clueless.
Right. No, I agree. That's a valid point. That's a very valid point.
Way to crew the stereotype, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I know. Freaking North Necks.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. Freaking North Necks. We need to give credit at least to the first to fourth season is amazing. It really was.
Yeah,
I'll
those
give
are
you that. The last episode of the fourth, I can't remember exactly what happens, but there was something that really angered me. But
Oh, I know what it is about. They changed something about the thing that really made Tyrion mad. But that's a spoiler, so
yeah, I
for
can't
another
go
time.
into that. You're right.
Yeah.
There is a part of that. There is a part of that. My favorite scene in season 8 were the water bottle and coffee.
Actually, truth there. There is truth.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. I think
Well,
the fans,
come on. Everyone likes the Magic Dragon ride they did.
Yeah. Oh God. Awesome
Ugh.
times.
A whole
think
new
yeah.
world.
And then didn't explain it. Oh,
No.
Jesus.
Okay,
done.
yeah. We got to let the sporking.
No, let me see one more thing. Because I'm so mad. What was the point of John being a Targaryen in the show? Sorry if I spoiled it.
Dude.
No point.
Oh, fine. Spoil it all.
I don't
care. Not my show.
Well, look, it's
Well,
the
it has no
show.
relevance.
We don't even know.
Show, okay. Well, no, you're the one that said we're not supposed to spoil past the first book.
Show's different.
Okay,
show is
show's
garbage.
different. Okay.
There's a lot of
Well, show
theories
is
out there.
garbage.
God, please tell me, ladies, oh God, tell me. I didn't think about her watching this.
Who?
I'm just saying. Hey, I defended. I was the defender of the
I'm
faith.
sorry, I just got so upset just then. All right, let's move on. Sorry, everybody, if you but that is the show. We in the books, John is a Stark. All right, let's move on. God, I hate myself right now. John, talking about John, let's read this awesome
Speaking of
chapter.
which, yeah.
Speaking of which, you stupid man. All right. John is eating breakfast when Sam excitingly tells that he has been passed out of training with John and the rest. Excuse me. Sorry. John feigns surprise, and Sam explains that he will be working for Maester Aemon, who needs somebody who can read and write to work in the library and with the birds. Sam is concerned about getting to the Sept in time. Otherwise, the officers may change their minds. When they arrive at the Sept, the other recruits are genuinely shocked to see Sam, but no one dares to say a word. All the officers arrive together. Lord Commander Jorah Mormont makes his customary speech about taking vows and being a member of the Night's Watch. Mormont asks if anyone wishes to leave before taking their vows, and they will not hold it against them. They don't say that in here, but no one does. Mormont asks if any of them followed the old gods. John speaks up. The recruits whisper that there is no godswood at the wall. Mormont confirms that Castle Black has no need of a godswood, since haunted forest beyond the wall stands as it did in the Dawn Age, and there is a weirwood grove half a league from the castle. Is my mic all right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm hearing reverb. It is then Sam speaks up that he also wants to swear his vows before the Heart Tree. Despite being born into the faith of the Seven, when Sir Jeremy Riker questions why Sam would forsake the gods of his house, Sam declares that the Night's Watch is his house now, and the Seven have never answered his prayers. At the end of the ceremony, Lord Commander announced the assignments. Halder and Albert to the builders, Gren, Pip, Toter, and Mathar to the rangers, Samwell and Daron and John to the stewards. John is flabbergasted and believes that there must be a mistake, but when he sees Sir Alistair Thorne's black eyes studying him, he knows it was intentional snub. The Lord Commander pronounces last words and leaves the first call. the recruits from each of the groups. After the rest are gone, the Lord Steward, Bowen Marsh, states that Sam will work in the library, Rookery with the Maester Aemon. Chet has been reassigned to the kennels. Darren will be sent to Eastwatch to work with the merchants, and John will be personal steward to Lord Commander at Morimont's own request. John sarcastically suggests a number of menial duties for himself and is told certainly and given several more duties. When John asks if they take him for a servant, Master Aemon answers that they took him for a man of the Night's Watch, though perhaps they were wrong. Oof. Outside in the yard, John, burn. Outside in the yard, John rants about it. He cries about his appointment. He's a better swordsman. Darren is angered by John's tantrum since he himself was unfairly sent to the wall for a false accusation. Sam quiets John by telling him that Lord Commander probably intends to groom him for command. Sam explains that his father once insisted that he be at his side for all important events, but once he fell out of favor, his father no longer cared. Suddenly, John is ashamed. Sam has accepted his situation like a man, while John was a little bitch.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they put in here. No, I'm just kidding. Late that afternoon, they proceeded through the cold tunnel under the wall and through 3 gates that Bowen Marsh must unlock. When they are finally outside again, Sam worries about wildlings, but is told they have never come this close to the wall. Nevertheless, they are joined by an escort of rangers. John whistles and Ghost lops out of the tunnel and then into the woods. The haunted forest is much like the Wolves' Woods around Winterfell, but feels much more ominous. It feels more ominous. It is dusk when they finally arrive at the clearing with the 9 weirwood trees and a number unheard of south of the wall. Sam looks at the faces on each of the trees and says that he cannot feel the old gods watching, or he can feel them. As night falls, John and Sam kneel and say their vows together. Night gathers, and now my watch begins. It shall not end until my death. I shall take no wife, hold no lands, father no children. I shall wear no crown and win no glory. I shall live and die at my post. I am the sword in the darkness. I am the watcher on the wall. I am the fire that burns against the cold, the light that brings the dawn, the horn that wakes the sleepers, the shield that guards the realms of men. I pledge my life and honor to the Night's Watch for the night and all the nights to come. When they are finished, Bowen Marsh declares that they knelt as boys and rise now as men of the Night's Watch. The gnarled forest Dywin says they should be getting back because there is something in the night he dislikes. Then Ghost returns, his red eyes and white face eerily like the face carved in the weirwood, in his jaw a human hand. Ouch. I love that freaking chapter.
Yes.
So much going on. Sam being a man, John being a bitch. I love it.
Well, yeah.
He's a boy. He's 15 years old. He's
a kid.
He's disappointed. He's disappointed. I get that. Night, Sean. I didn't see that you're leaving, brother. God bless. Please save. Watch out. Okay, hold on. Anyways, bed for me. God bless you all. Stay safe. God bless you, sir. Watch Out of the Shadows. I know I've watched some of that. And if you are someone like me who believes in saving the world in certain ways, I think that's what that is. If not, don't blame me, blame Sean. I don't know, man.
Well, he was doing so good at learning how to be a leader, and now suddenly it hasn't paid off like he thought it would. So he may have felt like that little growth was pointless.
You also expected, right?
Yeah.
He expected because he's Jon Snow and he's doing such a great job that he's going to be a ranger. He's the best swordsman. What do you think, Teresa?
Yeah. Well, of course he did. And he was too much of a little bitch.
Say it.
Yeah, to realize what Sam told him. Dude, you are the steward to the Lord Commander, idiot.
I know.
But that's not what his uncle was.
Oh, yeah, I know, because Lord Mormont's looking to him to take over the leadership, just like Sam said. And he's like, dude, dude, did you see who you're steward to? You stupid man.
Right. And I like how Sam reflects on his past. Like, my father always had me at important events by his side to teach me until he hated my guts, you know?
Mhm.
But that's also not what he wants. I mean, he doesn't
Right.
necessarily want that position. He wants
He wants
to
leadership,
be.
though.
He wants leadership, but he wants the ranger life too. That was kind of the point.
Right. But right in the vow, seek no glory. And that's what
Mhm.
John thinks about is glory. You know what
Well,
I mean? Like,
this is the one place where he could actually be appreciated.
But he
You know?
needed to learn a lesson about humility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that he wasn't ready. Because dang it, he's only friggin' 15 years old. I mean, have a bit of patience, man. You know?
You're muted, Scott.
shit. I'm glad because you guys were talking and I talk over people and I'm really sorry about that. But Teresa, remind me of that. Remind me of what you just said about John, you know, having a hissy fit about it and being taught humility when we're done with because there's something that connects all three of these chapters. Another thing I found interesting was like where other people went. Come into a big part of the next books. And I never realized that until now. Like these Chet in the kennels is important to John because of Ghost, you know. These are people he kind of grew with. And it's important to remember who they are. That's all I'm going to say. What else? There's so much going on in this one. I love that Sam is the voice of reason.
Yeah.
You know, Sam is just grateful he wasn't sent away.
Mhm.
Right.
And can I also say something? I don't know if they did it in the show. When I reread this part, I must have in my head switched it because I always thought he took his vows and then found out he was going to be a steward. But he could have left if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have been in
Mhm.
trouble.
They weren't tricked. You know,
Right.
you're told exactly what your path was going to be.
Right.
Mhm.
You could decide.
And in a way, I felt like since I read this the first probably 2 times, because this breezing over it today, the 3rd time, I always I don't know why my mind kept flipping it. And like, John, you're stuck, dude. You get
Because
what you
he was
get.
so disappointed. I think probably because of his reaction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, it was so extreme that you feel like he was trapped when he
Right.
really wasn't.
There's so much. I love how Sam, like, you know, says, I will go, you know, the 7 has never answered one of my prayers. And
Mm.
now I am a brother of the Night's Watch,
Mhm.
and the gods of the North are my gods now.
I love
Aw. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. He
Well-
truly becomes a brother of the Night's Watch.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
Oh, and I was going to say, to emphasize that point, it just occurred to me about the decision that John made, making the decision to take his vows after he found out he was going to be the steward. The words that what's his face tells them when they take their vows is, "You knelt down as boys, now arise as men."
Right.
Mhm.
Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it
And that's
go.
you know that's what being a grown up's all about now, isn't it?
Yep. Yep. I love how he brings Ghost with him. I love that
Love
Aw.
that.
Ghost
Doggy.
he reflects on the haunted forest to give you some idea, because we've heard a great description of the haunted forest, that this is even more ominous, being past the wall. And it's just, I think of like Mirrorwood or Lord of the Rings type of like just gnarly old forest.
Mhm.
And then he's like amazed by 9 weirwoods in that grove.
Yeah, it's like being in the presence of their gods.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now let's go over, if we could, the Night's Watch vow. Okay, so night gathers. Now let's not forget, people. Let's go a little meta. They were created after the long night. They were well, if the history is correct,
Mhm.
they were created just after the long night. They lost the just like some of the terms that people say but might have lost their meaning, I feel like this vow it's first of all, it's not the original vow, but there's so much in here that we could pick apart for future topics, like night gathers and now my watch begins. It shall not end to my death. I shall take no wife, hold no lands, father no children. I shall not wear no crowns or win no glories. That whole section before, I think, was a big part of why Benjen was like, you don't know what you're giving up. I shall live and die at my post. I am the sword in the darkness.
There you go.
Right. I am the watcher of the wall on the wall. I am the fire that burns against the cold. The light that brings the dawn. The horn that wakes the sleepers. The horn. Just remember that for future ones, people. The shield that guards the realms of men. I pledge my life, honor to the night's watch for this night and all the nights to come.
It's almost as if one person said this at one point in history.
Or one person did these deeds.
Yes.
And they built this around that one person. Did you ever think about that?
Yes.
I just really thought about it today. I wish I had my notebook.
That's freaking epic.
I wrote it down like, oh my God, this could be one man's story.
Yes.
Someone I'm thinking about, that they just took his story and turned it into their vows for what he did.
Because they may have to repeat it someday.
Exactly. Just like winter is coming is a warning.
Yes.
It is not winter is actually coming. Let's prep for it. It is a warning. Winter is coming because the Starks have been around longer than the long night in some form. There's so much right. What do you guys think about the vows?
If it is telling a story, it may be filling in some gaps that we have in other versions of the story in other parts of the world, and even in Westeros, about what happened and what things might be important to defending the world of men against it in the future.
Right. Okay, so real quick.
I don't know how far we can go into it.
Lady Toriel, I hope you just got on, like recently.
She just got the internet to work.
Yeah, okay, thank God. Don't watch this episode.
Don't watch it.
I might have said something that might spoil it for you, so please don't watch the earlier part of this episode, but I'm so happy you're here. I hope you're on next week with us because we love having you guys on. You and Teresa, like, just brings something to this that wouldn't be here if you guys weren't here, so I appreciate it. Same with the chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Like, I'd rather have the 16 people in here, the 20 people that were here, than, hundreds of people that are just here and don't really know what we're doing. You guys are really dedicated. Thank you. And any new person, you are so welcome to be in my chat. I really appreciate everybody. Sorry, I just had to get that out. So
the love.
Yeah, the love. Yeah, so we really can't go into the pledge anymore. I almost feel like I can't talk about the pledge until I read Winds of Winter. I really think, right, go ahead.
I was going to say, if it is like telling a history, then they're probably going, oh, crap, man. We could have maybe had wives and fathered children then if it was just recounting what one dude happened to do. Right. It wasn't supposed to be a vow. Crap.
Who the hell turned this into a vow?
I could have had a wife. I could have had all this fun stuff.
What I'm saying is they did create a vow, but I feel like they created a vow after this one person's journey.
Oh, for sure.
That's what I think.
Yeah, but I just think that's funny.
That's like, so funny. That's awesome. That is awesome. Hey, Jayne, is it in this book or the next book, the Black Gate?
Black Gate.
Under the Wall.
Oh, I can't remember.
That's next book, right? I think that's
it may be.
All right, I was going to talk about it. That's next book. I do love the way they talk about ghosts looking like the old gods.
Yes.
and really realizing it more and more, like the red eyes, the face, the white fur.
Yeah, it's like they were finally putting two and two together.
Right. Even though like how John found him was the gods sending him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, the Starks are slow.
they are so freaking slow.
Mhm.
Oh, they piss me off. He brings back the hand.
Yeah.
I just want people to remember that for future. I so want to just jump ahead so far right now.
It feels so random when it happens, though.
It feels so random when he gets the hand, doesn't it? Just remember that hand. Do we have anything else about this chapter?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just really showing us that they're ready and they're prepared and there's something big coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think despite the
love.
temper tantrum, I did like John in this chapter.
Oh God, yeah. You can
Yeah.
relate to him. I understood
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And as we said, he's 15 years old.
Yeah.
Yep. Trying to be a man, but now he is one. And I do like the reference of Sam talking about worrying about the wildlings, and they're like, they never come this close to the wall. Oh, she's starting book 4, chapter 4. Oh, thank God. Yes. Okay. I can't wait till you're done and you can join us for Monday night. I know you have some good stuff. A Storm of Swords. Thanks, Chief. It's that long? Wow. Okay. That's the third book, right? No, or fourth book. That's the fourth book. It goes Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the order. Hold on. I can't reach anything. Please hold.
Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords,
Feast for Crows,
Dance of Dragons.
So it goes, okay, Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, Feast for Crows, Dance with Dragons. Yes, we were correct. Thank you, Sheev. Here we got one. Oop, jumped ahead. Sorry. The vows talk about the king in the north. He was at the wall. Boom. No, I disagree. I like where you're going with that, though, Michael. I disagree. A warg puts those wolves there. I'm not gonna.
Awesome.
Everybody's jumping ahead. I can't do this. I don't. Yes, the warg did. I believe that too. So, Ghost finds it. Just remember that for the next chapter, at least John chapter. The one thing I did find with the three, they all fit together pretty well. If you look at Viserys dying because of his unwillingness to change, Ned unwillingness to change, John with the help of a friend and listening to somebody, willingness to change.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, every chapter is connected. He does it so well, but so like it's so like little pieces. And you gotta if you guys have not read these before in Miss Martin Muses, when you do, please remember the chapter you just read when you're reading the next chapter. Because they really do all connect in some way. Chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter. And it's really like something that happens down in King's Landing affects the way John's story is told in the North on some meta level. And it's really interesting. So how'd you ladies feel about the last 3 chapters? Teresa?
Oh, well, I thought all 3 of them were superb. And it was like all 3 of them were a huge turning point. We saw Dany come into her own. We saw Ned, well, with the Grim Reaper coming over his head. And then we saw John coming into his own.
Right.
The old going out and in with the new.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. I like that.
Yes.
Jayne?
Yeah, similarly, I do think that we do see this parallel between John and Danny still continue on their path toward what they're, intended to become someday.
Mm-hmm.
And taking, these steps and these turning points in their life where nothing is going to be the same.
Right.
But these are really great chapters.
They so are. They're so good.
They're so good.
They're so good. No, A Feast for Crows is the fourth book. Sorry. Because A Feast for Crows was split up into two books. When George wrote A Feast for Crows, he had so much that he split the characters up. Some went into A Feast for Crows, some went into A Dance with Dragons. Just so you know. Yeah, these were really, I wish Stig was here because I know he would have some stuff with these three chapters. These were important chapters. They weren't, and you could look at the first one being like a action-packed one, like real things change, and the next two being set up ones, but they still have so much information that it's more than that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was awesome. Totally awesome. The three chapters are great. Thank you.
Ned is still sinking. I mean, it's like quicksand.
And he doesn't see it.
He doesn't.
Oh, it angers me.
It's so frustrating.
It is. And we're going to wrap it though up here because it's 10 after 9 p.m. in East Coast.
Woo.
And I have to jump on at 9:30 to Immortal Coils. So ladies, first Teresa, then Jayne. Why don't you guys give your outros while I get his link?
Okay. Cool. Well, I have a channel, Miss Martin Muses. Currently, I'm talking with some former Once Upon a Fan staff about the TV show Once Upon a Time every other week. And you can find me on Twitter, Teresa2_Martin.
Thank you. Jayne?
Hey guys, you can find me here on YouTube where I post weekly movie and television reviews every Sunday at 6 Central, as well as some occasional pop culture news and commentary. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jayne Theory. And as I mentioned earlier, I did post a video on Frontier, the Netflix original starring Jason Momoa. So I would love you guys to check that out and let me know what you think.
And thank you, Jayne. And I can't find his page. So hold on one second, people. Thank you for everyone who came tonight. If you could stick around for like a minute after the stream ends. Oh, there he is. Mortal Coil, are you okay? I'm making you a mod, dude. Please put your link to that live stream. I'm going to jump on with you in 20 minutes. You are modded. Drop the link so everyone could follow us over there. And we're going to be talking George R.R. Martin, the shit week I think he's had, and news of the weird. So please do that, guys. It's a lot of fun. Check out Jayne. Check out Miss Martin Muses. Check out everybody who's been in our chat that has channels. Most of them do. I love you guys. Thank you for being an amazing chat, amazing panel. I really love doing these shows with you guys. Check us out Monday nights for our Winds of Winter spoiler-filled, usually another bitch session about the show too. And if you are not faint at heart or a snowflake, check out our Saturday night news dumps starting at 9:30 p.m. right after Rogue Entertainment. We will go into Hollywood, but we also touch on a little bit of the mix between Hollywood and politics. So if you're willing to hear people's other views, please come in, check it out, come and bitch with us, have a good time. Mortal Coil, please put your link in the chat if you're still here. If not, there it is. People, follow that. You'll see us in a few minutes. Have a great night, everybody. And remember, freedom isn't free. Thank you.